Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. If you're in Florida and the Tampa area, praying for safety for you all in the state of Florida with a hurricane coming. Here in Texas, we are used to hurricanes. My youngest daughter usually has a birthday hurricane, so until November, was it 2nd? Or 1st is it when the hurricane season's over. But I hope everyone is battening down and being safe. And the rest of you, I hope you're safe and sound too. There's a lot of things happening in our world right now that are kind of scary. I'm glad that you took time to watch this video and just my little rants and updates on being a slow progressing ALS person. So what has everyone been up to? I hope you guys have had a good weekend. I'll upload this on a Monday. I had a really great weekend. This past little bit between, I think it was almost 3 weeks ago, maybe a month almost since my last video. And during that month, I'm still on the clinical trial drug study. So Abicet and Proleukin. All 4 of us are doing okay. I've had issues with my breathing, spasticity, being a predominantly still upper motor neuron ALS patient. I have more spasticity, which is tight muscles. Yeah, you can have your cramps and fasciculations, but it's just really tightness. And it hits different parts of your body. I used to have it, the tightness, it would hit my ankles and my legs and I would walk differently. Still in the day, I am so unsteady and even when I walk, when I wake up, even though I do my physical therapy, my stretches, which when you're in a bad bout of spasticity causes, Charlie horses and different muscles. Not pleasant. It has started now hitting my chest wall. So it feels when it's doing it, it's pulling down from my collarbone. And these muscles, SCM, were really it looked like I was like, one of those bodybuilders. It was doing that and it went through the back of my ears. Even like when you shower and you use Q-tips, you don't put a Q-tip in your ear, but just around the muscle in my right ear was even clamping. I mean, it was like, oh my God, my ears are clamping. I've had some hemifacial spasms, which if you know that movie, The Joker, with Keith Ledger, that smile he has, that's kind of what your face does on one side. On my right side, what's been happening on, it must be like connected to my trigeminal nerve. So it's been a world of pain and suffering. Yeah, I can still walk, but, and I can't show you. I mean, how can you show somebody pain? The perception of pain is subjective. It's just, ALS can be a painful disease. First neurologist I ever saw, and actually was the one that did my initial diagnosis of ALS, told me that I was going to have a painful experience. He said it over and over and over again. And he told me to drink tonic water because quinine is illegal in the United States. So I have gone beyond that. I have gabapentin and my doses of baclofen. They started baclofen and then I'm up to 20 milligrams 3 times a day. So that's helped. I mean, I'm not suffering this, so it just makes you sleepy. So that's what's, that's about, but last Wednesday, I went and got fitted for my AFOs. They're ankle supports and they go up your calf and they help you walk. So having it on my left leg, I felt like my walk was more steady. So hopefully that helps me get around more. I do have a power chair and I'm practicing on not taking the wall out. The fine motor control issues with doing this, SPAC and having to fix the walls and paint them again. So that's just going on that. It's been a lot of realizing different parts of the disease. I mean, having the chest wall spasticity was kind of scary. The first time, when I went into the ER and got taken care of, they tested me to see if I had clots, CT, CTA, x-rays, no pneumonia, nothing like that. Went to the pulmonology, my neurology did that. Of course, they said, well, what if you have asthma? I was like, asthma? It's not asthma, it's ALS. My diaphragm's getting weaker. I did the PAT-1 sleep study at home, which discovered that I have a lot of light sleep, very little deep sleep, and less REM and apnea. And I desat into this like 68% at night. So I was worried about central, but apparently my neurologist told me it's more obstructive because my diaphragm is weak. Went in and had PFTs, and the respiratory therapists know me from the ALS clinic. And I kept hearing, look at the diagnosis, look at the diagnosis. So some of the tests they're going to do for me to test asthma probably would have sent me to the ER. And because I'd had such a 10-day run of severe spasticity, I'm just really glad, because I don't think I could have, even with doing the MEEPs with the machine in the pulmonary testing, that caused spasticity in my chest wall, and that's how I had to gank up the baclofen. I have talked to my neurologist nurse, so they're aware of it, and the neurologist, they're aware of it. So it's just, I don't know. I mean, I can remember when the event happened, I was so scared. I mean, I was trying to be calm and in the moment and use all the methods of meditation and chanting and prayers and everything I've learned and done. And I was able to stay calm through it, but then the fear hit later. And that's one thing that's really hard with ALS. I mean, you have a terminal disease, you know what the end point is going to be at it. The fact that my diaphragm is coming into this, that's scary. All I can do now is to concentrate on what is here now. When you do a meditation, you find an anchor for your meditation. Mine's always been my breath. And that was a little uncomfortable for me when I've been having the chest wall spasticity. So working through that, taking care of things, it's like even having the spasming of my SCM and my right ear muscles, brought me back to childhood stuff when I was a kid, having earaches. And having a mother that was a Jesus hippie that prayed over my ears and poured warm vitamin E oil in my ear, and dealing with memories from when you're a kid that are uncomfortable. It's kind of funny that you end up with a terminal disease that kind of pulls you in, the memories. But the key is not to stay in those memories. The key is not to stay in the pain. Anybody, whether you have ALS or not, you are the captain of your own ship. You direct your life, you direct the care you get, and you have to be your own self-advocate. So with the breathing test, the pulmonologist said, you didn't complete all the tests. The respiratory therapist had called not only my neurologist nurse, but also the head of pulmonology, and they got the orders changed, around my ALS. I walk with a cane for balance. I don't walk like a normal person. I'm not as fast as I used to walk. The fact that I'm still walking 3 years after diagnosis is pretty amazing. But if you just sit and look at me, you don't know that I have ALS. I like to say it's in my left four toes. They don't raise the right way. I'm dealing with a little bit of left, not total foot drop, but it's weaker. My left side's the one that's really affected right now. but it's just hard with the manipulation because I have to go in for another laboratory sleep study now. And my MIPS are like 18 points above what Medicare, which is the insurance that covers if you've worked and you're a citizen of the United States, you are eligible for Medicare. With, you know, ALS and MND, and there's other disorders and things, and when you're 65, you can choose it. But they only approve a breathing device every 5 years. And that's what I was talking to her. It's like, well, you know, if there's a CPAP, and if that's what I qualify for now, I'd rather wait until I qualify for the BiPAP, because I can't tell you when I'm going to need the BiPAP, if it's going to be next week, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, but it's not going to last 5 years. I might not be here for 5 years. Here's hoping the first 3 are going okay, but it's just real. I mean, you know, it's thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff. I mean, the AFOs, thank goodness, I have a Medicare Part C, and they're covering 80% of it. They're like $1,200, so I have to pay $277 for them. Once they get all the paperwork and all the progress notes, it's, you know, insurances, if they're covering for Medicare and what Medicare does. It's just all the things. But I'm now asserting my captain of my ship. No, I'm not going to do tests. The breathing tests are going to put me in the ER. You know, the sleep study that came back, and they're dealing with it, the sleep study lady I talked to is bringing it to her manager, mentioned some other health conditions I have, but didn't mention ALS. And it's like, you know, I have ALS. And if I paid all that money and you're telling me just to lose weight, insulting. I was in a car accident in 2018, so I had the diagnosis of head trauma. I had post-concussion syndrome. Still kind of mad about that because I had an accident maybe 5 years before that and had a concussion with that. But someone hit me, rear-ended me, gave me a terrible migraines and post-concussion whiplash, and then 9 months later I get diagnosed with ALS. Or first started having symptoms of it. So, yeah, it sounds like a lot of stress, doesn't it? Just trying to make sure that point A, point B, point C is taken care of, and that, you know, if I have pain that makes me think of being a child, you know, I'm going through counseling. It's a lot to deal with, dealing with a terminal diagnosis, with, you know, different life stressors. But, you know, it's all, you know, it's like taking care of yourself and dealing with the areas of you that need to be cared for, and not sticking into the pain or the disease. You know, I saw my sister, the one that has successfully dealt with the metastasis of brain cancer from her breast cancer. She had high-dose radiation to her brain after surgery. And the most amazing thing ever is, yes, you know, she's a little more tired. But if you looked at her, you know, other than, you know, she has a little, you know, her hair comes over, but if you look at it, you can see where she's had her surgery. But if you looked at her, you wouldn't know that she'd gone through that. The fact that she survived, I mean, hope. You know, we talked about some of her childhood stuff. You know, she had another family member came that's distantly related. It was like, oh, I've had this and that. You know, it's like when you talk about things that have happened in our lives, you know, it's not a pissing contest to see who's had the worst stuff. But being mindful of it. You know, it's kind of like, I have ALS. I have curly hair. I have brown eyes. I have a silly laugh, and you know, it's just ALS is a part of me. I can't make this disease all of me. You know, I think if you hold on to it, if I got really angry about pulmonology. I still don't think you should tell people that have ALS. I mean, I'm a realist. That, you know, I when I hiccups relieved the breathlessness, I kind of knew that it was something with my diaphragm. I have a medical background as a nurse, retired. But can you imagine being someone that has ALS and you get told, oh, you're breathing, because that's the breathing of ALS is what kills patients with ALS. Whether they get pneumonia or they don't get a tracheostomy and the muscles get weak, that's what kills you. So if you get told you have something like asthma, which can be treated in different ways, which isn't your diaphragm, that would be something that would be hopeful. And to have that dashed, I mean, I was a realist. I mean, you know, I kind of figured, I was like, oh, that'd be funny, but I don't think that has anything to do with the hiccups relieving the breath. I mean, it's, you know, basic reality. You know, it's not fatalism, it's just, I don't know if I agree with you. But apparently that happens a lot with ALS patients. So it is quite the journey that you don't quite know. When you go through things like breathlessness and having fear with that, you don't, no one tells you how to do this. You know, there's not, you can't be guided. You know, heck, I was a hospice nurse towards the end of my career. I worked ICU, I worked ER. I've seen people really sick. So you think I would know, but it's a total different experience when you're going through it. So we gotta just trust and find the beauty in each day. You know, you can feed the fear. You know, you can go on a walk, you can see, you know, and you know, wherever you are, you can see there's just like an oil slick, some refuse on the ground. And if you look in the light, you can reflect to see a rainbow, or you can hear the birds chirp. When you can breathe good, you can just concentrate on your breath in and out. But you can find beauty in each day. You can find something beautiful. You can feed that and not the fear and the attachments on, I'm scared of dying. Yeah, we all die. I don't know. I mean, pain is something that, you know, is unpleasant. And it's hard when that, you know, that the pain senses or stimulation is going off, the waves of pain that happen, the discomfort. It's hard to find the peace in that. I mean, heck, I have been doing deep meditations, hours and hours a day for years, and I still find it difficult. You know, I have the gabapentin, which does help. I can't even imagine what that would feel like if I didn't have the gabapentin. But even with that, you know, I can get in, I can be afraid of being into a spastic pain crisis. But that's not what I'm dealing with right now. And I can't concentrate and worry on that. I can't concentrate and worry that I'm not gonna be able to breathe. I can't concentrate and worry that I'm not gonna be here. I have to concentrate what good I have and what is happening, even if it's something neutral. It's just being mindful, taking care of the bad, taking care of the irritating, taking care of the hard, but also feeding the good, you know, the hope. Not that if something doesn't happen, I'll be upset, but just hope that, you know, to be present in right now and, you know, seeing the good, seeing the beauty. That's the key. So what else is happening? Well, we had the fall birthdays and I got to see my sister. And 6 of the 7 present were having their birthdays. My husband's birthday is in 2 weeks. I got him a plane ticket to go see his friends, go see Kevin Smith. You know, it's hard enough when you have someone that you love, that supports you, that is going along the disease process with you. You have to make sure they still have fun too. You know, it's been a hard road the past month in my care. And he's been present and been loving and has tried to make my days, give me little bits of happiness. You know, that's really sweet. I just want him to have a couple days to be able to relax and to be happy. So doing that, had the other little ones. I had my 6-year-old twin nieces. They just curled up to me. I love the little kids' love. Even my niece that's a senior this year, working a lot, doing that. She's a senior, she's doing high school, and she's doing dual credit for her associate's degree. I mean, public education, hey, everything will help. Sorry. But got to hug her and spend a little time with her. I don't know, I just love, I love my family. I love kids. I love my friends. I'm gonna do the art festival is it gonna be the first weekend? I think it is the first, the 7th. So I'm going to train somebody from the committee to do what I have done. Bayou City, Houston, the art festival has over 300 artists. And the city of Houston, we're a huge city. They have the streets shut down after a certain hour where everyone gets out of the business district that allows the artists to go set up on the roads. It's kind of cute, they have booths everywhere. Well, there's a certain spot where the artists have to wait. And I'm the person that, it's almost like being in a, I don't know, I kind of like death row. You have to think about all these artists have been driving across the country, going the different circuit of the different art festivals. They've been on the road. They just want to set things up, get their art set up, and, hopefully have a good show. You get them with different ones. There's lots of different personalities. People are under stress. They're thirsty, they're hungry, they're tired. You just have to manage and be gentle and kind and compassionate and, do the talk, do that, the way you run it. It's just to kind of show somebody that so it can be smooth. I can't guarantee that next year I'll be able to do it. It's amazing that I can do it this year. So that will be something. And on October 15th, I called my ALS association. I am ALS, the ALS TDI, there's so many groups that are awesome for people with ALS, the Gleason Foundation, Team Gleason. But the ALS Association has been very helpful for me. I've been able to borrow things like going on a flight, having to borrow a transport wheelchair. The groups that they have, they have groups for caregivers. They have groups for, those of us pals with their families. They actually had a group for younger children. So my daughter, my youngest, was able to see other children that had family members and be in a group with other kids that were dealing with ALS. It's a rare disease. So having that has been so wonderful. They actually have it for college age students too. They have nutrition classes. They have, or group Zooms, webinars, with COVID, with different medical researchers and talking about how to navigate the disease. They are an awesome, awesome group. They do help. They do help with research. They help raising voices. To have my last name be private, not that I adore you guys, but I am a vulnerable disabled person. I don't want to necessarily say, hi, it's blah, 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 blah. But I do have a team. It's Team Tall Skinny with 6 shots, my latte order. But myself and my youngest are going to be walking. If anybody's in the Houston area on October 15th, please sign up to join my team. But if you can, I'm going to insert below this video the link. If you would like to share and help me raise money for the ALS Association to help other families with ALS. Unfortunately, in our country, 5,000 people in the United States, and you have to imagine it across different parts of the world, are diagnosed each year with ALS. I think anytime there might be 30,000 with it. And, it's a group that I'm an anomaly, that I'm a slow progressor. Some people get diagnosed and die within 6 months. Some people last over 5 years. Some people, the average is 3 to 5 years. And it's a huge disease that when it opens up in your life, it's changes almost everything about your life. And having the ALS Association to help you, and it happens, I mean, I'm with the ALS Association in Texas. It's in each state. I'm walking on October 15th. I don't know if I can walk the whole, the whole thing, but I'm going to be present to raise my voice to help this group. Can you please help me by raising money for them? If you can, it would be a lovely thing. If you can, it'll take you to the donation page underneath, and that's for the association. It's not for me. It's to help people like me. So that's what's that. So I'm doing that. Art festival, walk. I'll probably sleep the rest of the month. No, it's Halloween. So poor Florida is dealing with a hurricane coming. I'm thinking, oh my God, everybody that put their decorations up, oh no. I have, I'm calling her the Grudge Girl. On 4th of July, here in the United States, it's our Independence Day. And they do a lot of fireworks, right? Because I can't walk that fast, yeah, I'm getting slower and slower walking. It's kind of sad, trying to get across the road as cars coming. I used to be such a fast walker. But that night was scary because we hadn't had rain for like 6 weeks. I mean, we had rain for a little bit, but we still haven't had rain for the past 2 weeks now. We're in drought. So it had been really dry. I mean, grass is, burning, water bans, it's like we were just outside of the thing where they could actually sell the fireworks. So bottle rockets are going everywhere. I had my husband water the grass and water, throw water on the roof, but it was scary. I mean, I scared myself. And then my two neighbors over had, like bottle rockets, different ones, fire up to, 5 feet high in their yard. And I was like, ah! It's like, it really scared me. And I'm not someone that scares easy, right? So I was like, I'll get you back on Halloween. So I found Grudge Girl. She's really spooky. I went to Goodwill last week, actually last Friday, and got an old time nightgown. I dyed it to make it look old. Coffee grounds and black tea. Boil it, put a little salt in it, put the fabric in it, and let it sit overnight. Makes it look really old. So I need to try not to do spray paint or anything like that because that will break fabric and I want to use her next year. So I'm going to get a little bit of black acrylic paint and water and just spray the bottom so she really looks like the Grudge Girl. And she's on a swing. And she's going to be facing that neighbor. I have a zombie facing the other neighbor that scared me. A banshee for the other one. And of course, my angel of death sitting on my porch will be back this year. Me and my humor. It's like, yes, I have ALS and I have the angel of death on my porch. So it's going to be a spooky, ooky year. I tend to have my art, like I have been an artist. Yes, a nurse. It's like art's not something that could really put, shoes on your child's feet and stuff like that. You have to really work at it and have a great business plan to do it. So I've just always had that on the side. And now I don't have the fine motor to do the very exact things, and my little art critic gets upset about it. But I can still do spooky real good. Could have been a set designer in a different life. But I'm going to spook it up and hope that a hurricane doesn't come. I have to take it all back down and hide it. No, so that's what's going on. If you can help me with my walk, I would really appreciate it to help other families that are going through this. I have been very blessed with that. I still only have one person walking with me. So if you can help us raise the money, that'd be great. Everybody, it's like the worst timing. It's like, no, I've got this thing, I've got that thing, I've got this. I have a lot of people going, but everybody has to work or has some kind of school event going on. Yeah. So if you don't have ALS, if you don't have a terminal disease, work on your connections. I know this pandemic has been really hard. People are missing, and my heart goes out to you if you have somebody that's missing. But, you know, making connections with friends and being present is something that really does help, you know. So, especially if you ever need to have a walk, you know, it's like a lot of people are like, yeah, but you really want to gather people to walk with you. But please help me, and I hope you have a great, safe rest of this month and beginning of October. If you are so pleasant and like to partake in pumpkin spice, yes, I know it's like the basic white girl thing, but if you have a Jack-in-the-Box near you, they have this basic witch shake. It's got like pumpkin spice and ice cream with Oreos in it. It's awesome. So just doing that, just enjoying. I'm gonna have a week where I get the house cleaned up and have people help me and have people help me set up the decorations. I'll just style things, make them spooky. When I get it done, I'll put some pictures up. No, it's maybe do a tour of the yard. Yeah, it's like, oh, this poor lady, this is real nice, has ALS, but you know. I give good chocolate out. You know what's been really good with the kids? If you have any children, if you're here in the States, I know UK, other places, Pop Rocks. Little kids really like Pop Rocks. You know, the old candies are coming back. So I'm gonna get Pop Rocks and lots of chocolate. So if I scare you, great, you can have some candy. We have to laugh at fear. That's why I do that, is laughing at fear. Because there's a lot of scary out there. You gotta laugh and you gotta get back to what anchors you, whether it's your breath, whether it's a nice cup of coffee, good music, a good book. You have to find what your center is. Always, you know, pray, meditate, whatever, you know, belief system you have or don't. You know, just find some place to center yourself each day and always find the beauty in the day. Oh, it's there. You just gotta look. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.